that the Air Pollution Control District allocates for emission control projects to transit operations. APCD currently uses over $5 million annually in VLF dollars to retrofit diesel-emitting trucks, reduce emissions at our ports, and to work with businesses on projects that have an immediate effect on making our air cleaner. VLF funds should not be on the table to use for transit operations, since there is no clear nexus between transit operations and emission reductions, especially when there would not be an increase in ridership. It would just be backfilling those operations. And there's no question about it, and I made this point at the Sandag meeting, the transit agencies, MTS and NCTD, are in a world of hurt in terms of the cost of operations. They're going up at an increasing rate, but we should not be robbing Peter to pay Paul. I was most impressed with the executive director with North County Transit in his comments. He was very forthright, and he admitted, he says, we've got a structural budget problem, and we need to solve that. And they were looking internally to solve that, and they weren't asking for additional money from Sandag, and I was pretty impressed with that. So with that, I think it's important that the board go on record in support of each of these recommendations, so I would put a motion on the floor.
I'll second the motion. Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just wanted to make a couple of remaining comments. There was a slide put up to show the ballot language. Only about the first 6 words were read, but there were a lot more words on that ballot proposition, and it listed specific projects. The first list of projects had to do with highway projects. Every jurisdiction, every city, including the county, we have local streets and roads that are beset by problems because of overuse and wear and tear. If we don't have this funding, we cannot keep the roads in adequate repair for even the buses to drive upon. So the voter-approved funding distribution formula is approximately 1/3 for highways, 1/3 for transit operations / capital, and 1/3 for local streets and roads. And again, this is the first year of a 40-year program. They're already trying to get us to come in and make a change, which, again, Chairwoman Jacob and I are completely against. As Chairwoman noted, we both, and along with Supervisor Horn, felt that there was a provision within this extension that allowed the Sandag Board on a 2/3 vote to shift money within categories that we thought was a violation of the public trust for a 2/3 vote. So we did not support this ballot initiative. However, it did pass 2/3 vote. It got barely 2/3, and it's my opinion that we should stick with this. And I'd like to just remind Duncan McFetridge that the 2 slides he put up showing a public opinion, one was made 9 years ago in 2000. The other one was taken in 2005, and it was from the North County Times talking about why people might move from the area. Part of the reason was high housing prices. Well, due to the recession, those housing prices have greatly diminished, so it may be a good time to pick up a house right now or a condo. And I don't think that when the people are voting for these provisions that they have in mind that we're going to go in later and tamper with them and change the funding formulas. So again, and lastly, on the air pollution control districts, VLF money, we directly use that money to reduce diesel emissions and other emissions that are right now polluting right now in the air. And as the chairwoman said, there is no direct nexus between increased transit without increased ridership. So that's the reason that we believe that this is the correct action to take today, and that's the reason that we brought it forward. Thank you.
Supervisor Horn.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to support your motion. Being on the North County Transit Board of Directors, I know as well as anyone how much trouble we have on North County Transit. In 2013, we are going to face at North County Transit probably a $20 million deficit. And I know that MTS is probably in the same shape we are, if not worse. The state of California has robbed transit agencies every year for nearly a decade. And it's taken, billions of dollars statewide. It's now come home to roost. They're expecting us locally to pick up the tab. There's no way we have enough money on a state promise and a federal promise to pick up the tab for operations for the transit districts. I support public transit, even though it doesn't move a majority of people. I do think it's something that should be available. But there's no way a one-time shot of money here is going to fix what we call a structural problem with the state budget shortfalls. When the voters passed Transnet extension, and I happen to be one of those who opposed to it because I was afraid of this happening, they really made a promise to split it 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. And I think you need to keep faith with the voters and you need to stick with that. North County was kind of soured after 1987 when we were promised to improvements on Highway 76, and it never happened. And so we felt like, the Linus, the Charlie Brown, where you pull the football once and don't pull it on us twice. I support your position here. I do think public transit needs money, and I don't know where it's going to come from, but obviously they're in trouble. We're looking at a number of issues in North County Transit, maybe privatizing a lot of our operation. But I do think the state needs to address this issue seriously. I heard one assemblywoman from San Diego suggesting they come to the county, and that the county had billions of dollars to help public transit. No way. Raising the vehicle license fees and taking the federal stimulus money and shifting Transnet money is not going to save us, the public transit, and it's not going to solve the problem. The lack of financial discipline practiced by our governor and our state legislature has caused this problem. It's been a chronic problem, and it's gone on for more than 10 years. And until they pay us back, and until they put their money where their mouth is, I think we should continue to use our money as the voters put up to fix our roads and our highways. So I support your motion. It's unfortunate. I wish we had the influence over the governor to make this better, the situation better.
Thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Roberts.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I'm not sure where to begin here. I feel like I'm caught between a rock and a hard spot. First of all, I think all of us understand the problem with transit, and the immediate problem, not the long-term issues, but the immediate problem is that the state has made significant cuts in the transit. No, not significant. Has wiped out the transit budgets. Contrary to what Supervisor Horn was saying, MTS is not facing a $20 million problem because we started about 2 years ago to make major adjustments, service cuts and other things, and realigning the system, and we're going to continue to do that. And quite frankly, we're going to make this thing work. The outcome is going to be that we're not necessarily going to have all the service out there that we would like, but we're going to have it there. The problem I'm having right now, beyond the fact that I'm listening to people who were all in opposition to the Transnet proposal tell us what the Transnet proposal means. And I remember clearly that Supervisor Cox and I were the only two to support it on this board. And it's nice to have so many champions now. But I'm looking ahead. I'm looking ahead to what is coming, and what is coming is going to be very different than what is here. I don't know of any proposals right now, and I was at the Transit Board meeting last Friday that are speaking of shifting funding from roads and highways to transit operations. There aren't any going on right now that I'm aware of, nor are there anywhere that I've heard shifting funding from APCD to transit operations. And the irony in that is the only place that I can even think of where we used APCD money for transit operations was in the Sorrento Valley area, and we did that for a 3-year period, Supervisor Slater. And I don't remember you ever having any concerns when we were doing that. I don't remember you come to any meeting and protesting we shouldn't be doing that. So all of a sudden that kind of a thing is anathema as part of your board letter. I think it's a little hypocritical, to be honest with you. There are no proposals, and